Welcome to Grit and Gravitas with Anne and Annie, bringing you savvy, spirited stories of success. We're excited to deliver 30 minutes of inspiration, impact, and goodness. We'll be bringing you guests and friends from around the country who have very special work and personal journeys. I'm Anne Deeter Gallaher, your co-host with Anne Carnathan, and this is Grit and Gravitas. Let's go! I'm feeling like we're a bag of Skittles today, Anne Carnathan.
Woo! We're bringing the color, girl.
Yeah. We have our super special guest in the Grit and Gravitas podcast studio. But we kind of had the podcast before the podcast, which is always good. We have three big personalities in the studio.
All looking mighty fine, may I
true.
say.
Yes, it is
Brought
true.
our A game.
I love that, yes. Ellen Kyzer is with us today. Our guest listeners are going to love her, love your story. Ellen is VP of Client and Community Relations at PNC Bank.
Yes.
It's a big dog bank. So I love seeing you around the community. We've been at several events just in the past week together. Yeah. I know how passionate you are about reinvesting in the community and representing, the bank. So give us a little backstory on how you rose to your position.
Sure. Yeah. The long and winding road.
Yeah. We want the good, the bad, and the ugly, but we'll start with the good.
Okay.
We're going to start with the good.
Got
Yes.
it. So I've been in my role at PNC for about 6.5 years. A real joy, right? Being able to help bring to life our values, our commitment to the community.
Yeah.
But that journey started 20 plus years ago. I went to the University of Pittsburgh, undergrad and graduate school, which, I grew up in a small town in northeastern Pennsylvania. So I came from humble background, which meant I needed to stay in state to go to college. Yeah, do
ship
well.
grads right here. We know the drill.
Deeply rooted here.
Yeah, so
and thrilled
I
to be it.
Great experience undergrad. Stayed on, got a fellowship to go to graduate school in public and international affairs. Right,
Ooh.
So from the framework was grounded in that nonprofit work. That's really what my entire professional career was before joining PNC. So spent time as a frontline fundraiser, worked on the campaign to build the Children's Hospital at Penn State, which was a remarkable life experience.
Yeah.
And then leading a couple of nonprofit organizations as well. And so when I had the opportunity to take that experience and really translate it into helping a company like PNC come to life in the marketplace and translating sort of those relationships that I brought from a community perspective and knitting together some of that experience of investing in people and community and resources, it felt a little like kismet. And it's been a wonderful, wild ride. I've learned the industry. My colleagues, when I first started, I felt like they were speaking a foreign language.
Well, if you're coming from nonprofit to banking,
it was the first time I'd ever worked at a for-profit company. And so culturally, I have to say it's been a wonderful fit and a great place where I feel like I can live the values.
I love what you said, introducing, like they brought, well, kudos to them that they would invest in someone of your networking capacity to grow the brand. But to what you said was bringing their values to life in the community. And that's really, I don't think that's very common in banking. I don't think about banks when I think of someone bringing the brand to life in the community, but I love that. So you've just kind of, made it more emotional, made a transaction more into a relationship.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I'm someone personally who deeply values relationships. And so it's been a wonderful opportunity to mesh those together. I also get to spend a lot of time internally focused on our associates and on some of the employee business resource groups and the ways that we invest in employees. And so that for me has been kind of this unique knitting of my core skill set, right? I came from a background of managing teams and people and kind of understanding what motivates them, and to translate that into the day here has been great.
Was it difficult to transition from nonprofit to for-profit?
I was worried. I had dedicated my whole career to sort of this conviction that what filled my bucket was the community work that I was doing and leading. And so the thought of stepping back from that after 20 years gave me deep pause. But I think what's been beautiful is the understanding that culturally and from a day-to-day perspective, through this work, I'm able to bring to life a lot of good, meet a lot of great people, build relationships, and really that investment that we're making in employees has filled my bucket in a different way.
Great point.
And when we had coffee, that's really the business vitamin I took away from that, just that 30 or 45 minutes, probably 3 hours, that's how fast it went, to get to know you is that authenticity on both your parts, meaning yours, because that's what you were rooted in. And then PNC, who's got to be one of the country's biggest banks. I mean, and so for that to integrate into an authentic way locally, because the charm of like a local bank is to say, hey, we're here locally, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing that the Salvation Army, and we're seeing that with all these charities no one's heard of, sort of, and there is no question in my mind that you are that locally. And so I think it's as much a leap for a big bank, right, as for you to go, oh no, like, am I going to be a sellout, right?
Right.
In a for-profit way. And it's not just a little better for-profit, it's a behemoth.
Well, and I think a great way to look at that when if anyone struggles transitioning from nonprofit where you're so mission-based,
For survival.
Yeah, our buckets are filled because we do it, on the side. At the board level, on the sponsorship level, committee level, whatever. But you also mentioned something interesting that you don't often think of. Reinvesting. So what you did in the community, you're now doing for PNC, and reinvesting in the culture and the employees, which has a huge impact on everyone who works there.
That's right. And I think that was the piece of myself that I didn't understand. I didn't understand how much joy that brought me.
Yeah, it's
how
great.
fulfilled it made me.
Your audience is different. Your
That's
audience
right.
here was within the organization, whereas before it was the whole region wherever you were serving.
That's right. And I think that's
a great way to look at it.
Someone
that's
did see
different.
that, though, because it is a complete best of both worlds. This is what fascinates me about people's journey. It's like, is it the chicken or the egg? Because you're precisely, if you scripted a perfect job for your journey at this point, it would be this. So who at PNC saw that vision to say, this is what I see or what will happen, right? Didn't whomever
That's
said,
right.
yes, Alan, please work here, have that vision?
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think Jim Hohen, who's our regional president at the bank, really took the opportunity to bring me in and bring me on, and also set up the space for me to learn the business.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's part of it too. You have to learn to speak the language. You need to understand credit fundamentals, because
Well, that's a big leap. I mean,
it was a big leap.
But if you were doing a capital campaign fundraising, you're using the side of the brain that's still the financial side.
That's right. But I still needed to come along in a way where I
Absolutely.
could support all of my colleagues, where I understood the language.
Understand the
where-
business.
That's
Yeah,
right. And
yeah.
and I didn't. And I am fortunate to be in an environment where that was nurtured, encouraged, collaborated on. I took a course within PNC on credit fundamentals, and Jim agreed to be my mentor. And if I couldn't get it, right, I was in his office saying, I'm never going to understand a bond deal ever, right? And he's breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. So,
But that's kind of cool. I mean, look how smart you are now.
right, it was great. And it stretched me, and it scared me. And it was like, oh, okay, this is the next challenge. I'm going to build this base of knowledge, and in a way where you have people around you who are willing to, much like you've done, much like we all do in mentoring, stop and say, I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to get this right. You can absolutely do this.
And people let that fundamental fear root them in a comfortable place that is all short term. Because true growth, and this is the irony, true growth comes from being uncomfortable, from pushing that boundary. And
it's hard to willingly go there.
Oh, and you
it is.
But I feel like at least Alan had a hand out,
and it was intentional choice. I'm going to take this
Yeah.
job, and that means I'm going to have to, immerse myself in a whole new language or business model. Whereas before, you're solely mission based.
Correct, and I knew it because I'd been doing it a while.
What you just said brought up what Jon Taffer said at the Harrisburg Regional VIBE thing this week. He was huge on this. The bar rescue guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he brought his own thunder.
He did. Larger
But
than
I
life.
love just like he said, we're not talking about successes because growth only happens in the failures, which I know you're huge.
I'm a salesman, right? The most knows
Learning
wins.
from
getting
comfortable in that scenario, which I don't know that I'm ever super comfortable, but you failed. What are you going to learn from it, and how are you going to, get back up and do something better, or reach out to that individual again and ask for the sale?
You talk
this
about the
time?
Salvation Army. We talk about hope.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's hopelessness in isolation, in being alone, in not seeing a way out.
Yeah.
And when you can just put out a hand of hope, when you talked about banking credit and all that, I got let's break out in hives.
No, but I love.
And you did it anyway, right? Like, because
Yeah.
to me, you're all EQ. Like, I just want to love you up. It's that EQ in me that's just like shunk, right?
Yeah.
And
What was that again?
shunk. That's the sound of my husband. I
don't know.
Yeah.
That's a new one. We can hashtag
Well, if they
that. whatever
can't
that
see
is.
it, I had to define it, which is good on your part, because you can't see this in just audio.
That's right. Yeah.
However you consume it, we're happy for it. But you just exude EQ. But at a big bank, you better know the fundamentals.
Well, I love that if you serve on a bank board, you got to know the fundamentals too.
That's right.
You
And
know, whether it's a credit union or a bank board, you've got to know when you're in those leadership positions. So your job is a leadership position.
That's right.
I also love for women. Well, let me back up. One of my little granddaughters, Jess, is crushing it in math, and I could not be more excited. Like, she says, Mimi, I don't really want to do writing. I'm like, what did you just say?
she's a STEM girl. She's a STEM girl.
Totally.
Yeah.
She crushes math, and I said, this is so not Mimi. I love that you're
Yes.
crushing it at this level. So
Yeah.
keep going. But for women, I don't think, and especially, mid-career maybe, it's hard to throw yourself into the financial world and grasp everything. Just for me, I don't want to sound stupid. If I'm talking about a bond deal, like I do a deep dive understanding, my brother had a bond firm, so I understand a little bit about it, but on the macro level, I don't, it's just sometimes scary, but I love that it's such a quantum leap thinking that you went from nonprofit to this, and you had to understand, because if you're out in the community, you have to represent the institution.
That's right. And so I think I chose to do a few things, right? I chose to take the course. I chose to look for mentors internally
versus
and
saying,
externally
you know
that
what?
were going to help me.
I'm not going to be
vitamin.
able to talk
Right.
about this.
Business vitamin.
Yeah.
She took the leap.
Intentionally, yes.
Right. And
yes.
said, I want to do this. There's
Good.
a limited number of people getting
Yeah.
these slots, and I want to be one of them.
Love that.
Right? I mean, you go.
You
Well, I think
Hashtag badass.
yeah.
I think that's to the point about finding the mentors too. Like, I had to think about who were the people that I knew, or who were, in this case, women that I respected that could help me navigate this
Right.
new water.
Right. Good.
Right? Because
Good.
of course I
Good.
was nervous. Of course
Yeah.
I was afraid. Of course
Yeah.
I was unsure. And that's why, to me, that has been such a part of my journey, and something that I really focus on as I go forward is bringing everyone else along too.
Cool. That's another business vitamin.
But if someone
Move
said,
up and bring everybody along with you.
Yeah, like build a tribe.
Yes.
But why ultimately did you say yes?
Ooh.
That's a tough question.
Because it's always a cocktail
Yes.
of risk reward.
Yeah.
And in that instance, the longer you're established in a career,
That's right.
the more risk.
Yes.
You know, when I said to everybody mid-career, I'm leaving, broadcasting and I'm going to go do this, they're like, wait, huh? There wasn't a single person who went, oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Right? But, I bet on me and I thought this is what, right? A tremendous, way more risk than reward. So why did you ultimately say yes?
I think that's an interesting way to look at it, to say that I bet on me. I think in my heart, I believed that if I made this leap, if I did this job well, ultimately I would be able to do more good than what I was doing it every day. I believed that I could support this work in a meaningful way.
Have a greater impact in the community.
And that would translate well. And I think deep down, I thought, I'm at a certain place in my career, and if I don't make this leap now, I probably won't.
I love it.
So
you get more cocoons, you get safer.
Especially mid-career.
You talk yourself, you're more adept at talking yourself out, because you say to myself, I'm experienced, I know these things now. Now you don't know any more than you knew 20 years ago.
But you're taking a course about finance. And part of me would be thinking, oh, dang, what if I don't pass the course? Well, now what? I've already said yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, and to be fair, it wasn't a requirement.
I know, you're not,
but ultimately, it's table stakes.
We like to win.
You were in it to win it, though.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
That's
like you
the
went
difference.
all in. You didn't go in with half your butt, right?
Yeah.
You went all in and said, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's...
And there
I did phrase that. I did PG phrase that.
And there were moments where I had some doubt going through that course and program, and but sometimes you just got to dig in.
There's no guarantee,
right?
But
that's
I love
where
this.
your mentor came in again
right.
too.
Yeah,
so
right.
you're like,
to say,
hey,
I know I can get through this. And for me personally, I am always, for what I lack in natural ability, my determination, my work ethic, I'm gonna grit it out. I am going to dig deeper and work harder, and it doesn't matter how long this takes me. Like I will get there. And
I think it's a business vitamin to just acknowledge and recognize you have weaker aspects to yourself.
Oh yeah.
Let's just be frank.
Right.
You're looking right at me.
No, I'm looking at you because you sometimes eloquently wrap things up better than I do, right? So no, I'll be just as good with a mirror, a wall mirror, right? Yeah. So I think it's just it's refreshing to say, here's what I don't do well.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge too, especially for the younger women.
Yeah.
Like if the door opens, run.
Right.
Like go through the door. Don't play the safer bet and say, maybe in the next 10 years I'll know enough. I will have read enough Wall Street Journal articles to master that. No.
Right. Because
go in now.
What we know, right, is that your male counterpart is going to go in even when they maybe are less qualified.
Absolutely.
Because they don't, all the data says that they maybe don't fear that in the same way.
But
as a
no
woman.
diss on them. Shame on us.
Right.
What? We need to go seize the opportunity. If there isn't one, make one.
That's right.
So go right in there.
And I said to you, Ellen, when we had coffee, we each had the longest commute ever, like Ellen's third floor and the first floor. Like,
is there a coffee shop in your building?
I brought my own.
yeah, she brought her own and I brought my own. So we had remote coffees we brought together. But I think too that the ability to connect personally, that's Ellen's superpower, that's my superpower. And what you need to do to connect, especially with nonprofits, to the community and to the business side, is connect with people. But you have to do it in person. So you and I didn't say, regardless, let's do a video call or like, no. We both value that. And I always get my plug in to say that people connect with people. People are moved, inspired, and motivated by other people. And you have an absolute mission to that. To be able to move people.
Yeah, and that's in my DNA too. I think those relationships that I've created over the last couple of decades, like they carry with me, right? Those nuggets, those moments, those conversations, they frame who we are. And I think as we go forward and we're building continued relationships. It's person
Right.
to person, right? Like that's how most deals get done in a variety of ways. And
Absolutely.
that's core to me, and I think to most people.
It's like your quilt. Everyone is a square along your journey.
Yes.
And it creates your quilt.
You brought up a good point earlier about mentoring. Talk to us, like, how important was that to you as you came to the bank? And are you involved in any kind of informal mentoring with younger women?
Yeah. So, I'll go back one step further.
And I don't mean just women to women, like any,
No.
any time
I think to the
of-
point about mentoring, I feel very grateful for mentors I had early in my career.
Absolutely.
Women who maybe were more established in the marketplace, who opened that first door for me, who invited me to the dinner where I otherwise wouldn't have been at the table. They hold
cool.
such a special
Yeah.
place in my heart. And I have tried to take that with me and carry that as a way that I embody and live mentorship. So it's not, to me, it's about the conversations and the coaching and the discussions and the formal and informal. But it's also about modeling the behavior, opening the next right door, hosting somebody at a lunch, helping them to see. I remember so clearly the first time I felt like I was invited to the big girl table. Like, I remember it. I remember thinking, can I walk through this door?
Yeah.
Like, can I go sit with them? Am I, then that imposter syndrome, right? It just like floods you. And you think to yourself, take a breath, open the door and go. And so, I try to embody that now. And I try to the point about finding your tribe and helping
and looking for those other younger people to
bring
include.
them up, to bring them along, to take the time that I was so fortunate to have invested in me. And some of it for me too, in that mentoring, is actually showing someone how to do something.
Good.
Like watching you, right? It's about body language and eye contact and polish and speaking and how you follow up with someone. So there's just a holistic way that I look at it, and I'm grateful for it, for what I've gotten along the way.
Awesome.
And you're paying it forward. And I read, I don't know if things find me where I just read a lot, but it's absolutely not what you say. People watch what you do.
That's right.
Right.
And they watch who you do it with.
Yes.
And they can see all along that way, no matter what we show them on social media, what it's all about actions. And you just summed up the mission of this podcast is for Anne and I to help pay it forward with just strangers if need be, right? Because we didn't feel as if women did enough specifically for women. And so that embodies the mission of how guests either find us or we find them, right? Along the way to help share the pay it forward mission of this and clearly of your career.
Yeah. And I think too, when I think about mentoring and some of the younger folks I'm working with or mid-career folks or whoever they happen to be, I also try to draw on the lessons I've learned along the way, the things I wish I would have figured out earlier.
Right. Totally. That's what the podcast's all about. Yeah.
Oh my.
Maybe don't have to make every mistake I made.
And we really try to shorten the learning curves of those behind us. So to your point, so they're not, going right when they should be going left or vice versa from our own experiences. Like, this will help. But I also think it's so important for us to invite younger people to the table. Like you said, when you finally arrived, I was at a big girl event in it was Palm Springs. This is years ago. And it was a group there for the Wall Street Journal, Women in the Economy. And it was, talk about imposter syndrome. I absolutely felt I did not belong. It was a very small group. I will never forget the networking, walking into a room where you know no one, but you know that everybody is someone that's in that room. They're from big corporations. And out of the blue, there was a group of women talking. And I'm, walk in and register and stuff and by myself. And a woman turned from that group and immediately brought me into the group. And I would, it was like getting $1,000. You immediately felt, how awkward it is to be the only one standing at a networking event.
Yes.
And, we tell younger people, get out there and network, but, add it on to their inertia anyway for those things is they don't want to feel awkward.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I thought, I'll never forget that woman. I think she was a doctor who looked to see who was standing there and needed, a little invite. And it was, a question, hey, would you like to join us? We are talking about, and it's a feeling that you get like, oh, whew, okay, now I don't have to look like a, look like I am all alone, which I was all alone.
Yes, and feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And shrink.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's been a big setback, Ellen?
That's a challenging
Annie
question.
loves these.
I think
She's so comfortable with them. I know we all say we're
I'm
going to
intrigued
grow.
by that because I do think the bigger the setback, the bigger the comeback. And
Yeah.
I do believe that propelled you in part to where you are on this amazing journey, meaning just the perfect
the end.
intersection.
Yeah, I think one setback along the way was, I was sharing, I spent quite a few years as a frontline fundraiser.
Yeah.
And I had a real hard time in the beginning learning to not take no personally.
Oh,
And that was hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah.
And I think possibly because I tend to be someone who is high on the EQ scores, it took me a while to
so you think they're saying no to you and not to the...
And I think at my worst, it hurt my feelings.
Yeah, right.
Like at my, where I was still kind of
Yeah.
growing as a professional. And man, when you're a fundraiser, that cannot be what sets you back, right? You have to be Teflon. It's like being in sales. You've got to be able to come back at it and be better at it and relentless.
Plus, the whole team is watching you. Like the board or whoever is on the capital campaign committee, we're watching. I've been on those, and Kathleen Pavelko headed up our Salvation Army capital campaign, and she is badass.
Yes, she
I
is.
love her, but she doesn't let anything affect her personally. For these, so similar personality with you, Annie. She sees the strategy, she knows the vision, she marches in there. Where I'm like, oh, so you don't want to give 10 million? What's
right? And I had to work hard at that, right?
Yeah.
I had to toughen up a little bit.
No, it's a tough job.
Right? And I think
tough job.
I think ultimately that served me well because as I grew in that space and I got better at the
thicker skin, like more
absolutely.
resilient.
And I think just for me coming to understand that wasn't personal at all.
Right.
But I had to let go of that in order to be better, to be a better leader, to be able to coach other people, eventually leading campaigns.
That's a good
and
point.
Teams.
That's another good point.
But you have to get there, and that was one that hurt. Like I had to really work on how I was taking that in, where I was developing.
Well, that's self-awareness too, of understanding. Like,
And I think it's back to knowing your own weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right? Like I try to be somebody who can really hold the mirror up and say, here these three, right?
Yeah.
Let's focus here. Let's drive a little harder.
Right.
But earlier on in my career, it was a setback, and it would have, I think, eventually held me back because I would have let it stop me.
Yeah.
And what you just described to me is the crux that I call church and state in any organization. It's this built-in sort of rub with sales and everyone else. Mm-hmm. Because sales is out there thinking, oh, hey, I'm probably compensated to, eat what you kill. Throw the meat in the cave, let the tribe do everything, and I'm going to go back out and hunt, right? Mm-hmm. And so, which is more important? And no, salespeople have long lunches. They go out to dinner. Yeah. They're never here. And I think the essence of any business is the revenue side. Until or unless it's coming in. And that to me is ultra magnified in a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Because I know just for Universal, hundreds of requests a year.
Oh, yes.
To contribute and to tithe. And the bottom line is anyone can only do so much.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think, Ellen, again, Anne's point, to recognize that. And no one knows what that feels like. Day in and day out.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
No, it's so normalized to me. I almost don't even blink.
Yeah.
because of that,
you have to.
Now, is there a downside to that? Of course there is.
You need to teach a course on that for younger people. You need to teach a course.
I think that's right.
But at this point, it's almost, how do you begin to describe that? But it's ultimate risk reward of betting on yourself.
That's right.
To be able to push that some compartment wide that isn't always hurting my feelings. Good grief.
Right.
That's all that would happen.
That's what I thought, and that's all that did happen to me for a while.
And I'm letting someone else define me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
What would you tell your younger self, Ellen?
I would tell my younger self that perfection is overrated.
And impossible, by the way, right?
Yeah,
This
and
is
so maybe
vitamin,
let go of that.
perfection's overrated, yes.
You can tell your sons that now, right?
Yeah, I think, there's a roughly right in there somewhere. There's a, but it doesn't have to be perfect, and nothing really ever is. And so maybe just let's not hold ourselves to that standard every day.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Good.
What a failing goal.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And it just gets to the whole heart of women of, they want everyone to like them. They don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want any conflict. And that's a lot of humans, not just women, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, there's a horse for every saddle, but some people don't find the horse and some people never have a saddle. So you just sort of have to acknowledge that there's going to be your tribe. There's going to be professional courtesies along the way, but not everyone is going to be your person.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's hard fought and hard won after a journey. You're any steps on the journey. Just like that, ladies. Just saying.
Already?
It's crazy.
So, let's close with what advice do you have for younger people who might want to work for a bank?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think
because your role is different. So I want people to think you don't just have to be a lender or
you don't
an
or
associate.
financial
right
Yes,
or a tech guru.
Yes.
I think just like everything and most career paths, right? It's about relationship skills. It's about your ability to lead a team. It's about your ability to problem solve and have a hard conversation. It's about coming to work every day with the I can do attitude, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
those are the fundamentals of
any company.
Correct. That's what we're hiring for, right? We can train people to do a lot of things, but positivity.
Well, it was another Jon Taffer thing.
Right. That's the truth.
He said he never, ever hires for the resume. He only hires for personality. And, the positivity, the optimism, going into the room, eye contact.
Right.
Which was, I mean, it's common sense. But again, when you're looking at a Harvard or a Penn resume, you might be swayed.
Right.
Well, in the AI and I'm not hiring a robot.
Right.
And hey, everybody. Hey, hybrid everybody. There's got to be a happy place to where you can communicate and move people eye to eye, face to face, convo to convo. Crazy. It is not a buggy whip out there. It's an acquired and essential part of business.
Right.
Agreed.
Ellen, where can our listeners find you? Like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram?
LinkedIn is perfect.
Okay. And it's Kyzer, Kyzer, if they're looking you up.
Yeah.
Good.
Love to connect on LinkedIn.
A one and only. She's one of one.
I am.
And of course, we'll put your photos out on our Grit Gravitas socials too. So
absolutely, just overwhelmingly thrilled to have you. I knew it would be a joy, and it has been all that and more.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you, Ellen. Have a high gear day. And you too, Annie. Thanks for listening. It's our desire that these stories will bring energy, ideas, and fresh thinking that you can use today. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram, and have a high gear day.